Hola, mi amores. Hello, IAAH Radio Plus. Saludes to all of you. Greetings. I am Judge Desire for Knowledge. Thanks for joining my show today here on YouTube and IAAH Radio Plus. So, today is an awesome day, weekend after the weekend of July 4th, 250th. Happy birthday to the United States of America. And to all of you, I hope and pray that you all are well and that you enjoyed your celebration if you're in the United States. We sure did. It is a balmy 85 degrees here in the mountains. How is it where you are? I hope it's great. So today we are back to Know Your Truth, Real Talk again. And today's topic on Know Your Truth, Real Talk is one of the series I do a lot called Games People Play. I like doing that series. Every time I do the series, and it's on my YouTube channel, you just look for Games People Play. And then they'll have like different topics for that. Usually I consider whatever resonates with you is what you're going to look for, right? Because some people aren't going to go through all of them, but they're pretty cool. I think so. I hope so for you. Because I find them to be informative um, in real time. You know what I mean? Because it's important that we're on real time when we do things on the internet because it's very, what do you call it? I think it's very needed here to be accurate or at least bring as much accuracy to your channels if you have any. And that's what I do here on Judge Desire for Knowledge TV Talk Radio. So I'm glad you all joined me today and today on Games People Play. You won't believe this. Go get your popcorn because it's popping with situationships. Have you all ever heard of that? I'm going to tell you what that's about. The relationships where nobody wants to admit they're not in one. That's the title, but it's true too. Usually a situationship is like when you're just feeling a certain way in a relationship that's not actually a relationship because you're not having the commitment, you're not having the validity, you're not validating it, I should say, validity, and you're not announcing it, but you're together. So those are some parts of being a situationship. And so on this um, episode, I am going to explain what a situationship looks like, so that those of us that are in one, and I say us because it's a general collective here, and I don't want to speak on specific people, but anyone that is in one will really, you should get a flag right now when you come into this part of the show, because I'm going to also include red flags, okay? So that it's beneficial for you to figure it out. And again, I'm going to go over it like I do on all my shows. Every title, everything I do is created content that I take my time out to do, and it relates to experiences in work and in life, sometimes other people's personal um, experiences that is shared with me or I've seen. And as I said, most people I've seen are in the courtroom. So basically, you bring your relationships there, you talk about it there, and you do everything there. So I use some of it from my years being in the system. I've used most of that from there and some from life experiences because I don't want people to actually end up in situations where I could have helped by saying something. And some people will look at it like that. I don't need your help. You don't need it. That's true. Change the channel and go find the one that works for you. But on this channel, it's about help, self-awareness, self-love, and accountability. So if you don't want to be accountable, you don't like self-love, you don't like love at all, then this is not the channel for you, because I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for anyone and make it look pretty for you, because we've all done the sugar coating on our own lives and it didn't turn out right. Some people, unless you learn the lesson. So like I was saying, if it didn't turn out right, or how did it work out for you is what you need to ask yourself, and then you'll know. And so these channels that are called coaching, I've never watched coaching or anything like that, because this is not really a coaching channel. I like giving information out, but I consider it, I like to influence people to make a change, not coach them in it. So there's a big difference between my channel and coaching channels, and I don't put them down at all. They're doing a great job, some of them, not all of them. As I've seen people that coached, that, getting off subject here, that have coached, and they're actually, like, most recently, I believe it was a social worker, don't quote me, but the son had to report his mother, who was a coach on behavior, mental stuff. I don't remember the whole detail, but I know that, so a lot of things here on YouTube can be falsifying. People don't live the lives that they're saying on their channels, and they're getting caught for it, which is sad. Because why bring a lie to act like you're someone you're not, and you're exactly the person that you're saying on your show? It's sad, but that's another show I'm gonna have to look into doing. But either way, yeah, so be careful what shows you watch here on YouTube, because some people, unlike myself, they're doing it for subscribers, followers. I just need a person to understand that for me, it's not the same thing. That one person that listens is getting something out of this channel here. Um, Judge Desire for Knowledge TV Talk Radio, instead of, oh my God, what am I going to say this week? Because that check needs to come monthly or weekly or whenever they give it. I'm not here for that, believe me. And so if that's the case, you got to be very careful who you watch and what you're hearing. There's manipulations, there's hypnotism going on. There's a lot of stuff that's real deep, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Just know that if it's not about positivity, and sometimes it is about positivity, it could be the wrong way to go. So warning, just letting you know. And I also want to warn about my background right here. If you have epilepsy and medical conditions that these lights affect you, please, I'm trying to change them every now and then, but I love the backgrounds. So this channel, you can go on IAAH Radio Plus and listen to this segment of Know Your Truth, Real Talk, Games People Play. So we're on situationships, the relationships where nobody wants to admit they're not in one. Together, but not together. Committed, but only when it's convenient. And I've seen this in a lot of people that have said, well, he's there, he's not there, she's there, she's not there. And this is part of it. I am not a counselor, I am not giving advice, but you can actually look at this and see if you see any of these trigger you, then wait a minute, this is this, but it's going to be your own decision on what you do. I'm just bringing it to the light. Let's just say that, okay? So, well, let's start with hello. How are you today? Hola, mi amigas. Hola, mi amores. And welcome to the era where people don't ask, what are we? Anymore, because they're afraid the answer might be nothing, which is true, right? So we do live in a time where somebody can text you every morning, call you every night, know your favorite foods, um, meet your pets, right? Borrow your hoodie or whatever, and still say, wait, I never said we were together. So be careful of that, because congratulations, you have entered the situationship. So if that's what's going on with you, you're in a situationship, or possibly, all right? The relationships with all the responsibilities of a relationship, except the title and commitment. And that's important. If you're not getting that, then you're in a situationship. So let me say, what is a situationship? A situationship basically is dating without direction, romance without responsibility, commitment without commitment. Like, you're committed to that situation. When two people are acting like a couple, okay? Spending nights together, going on dates, sharing personal details, getting jealous, arguing like a married couple, basically. But when the serious conversation comes, hey, what are we? And you're asked, suddenly they become a lawyer. Okay. So if you're in that type of situation, you're going to ask yourself, what is this to us? But if that person can't ask, what are we together? Then you got to think about it. And why do we need labels? Is sometimes that's what people say. Why do we need labels? I don't like to be labeled as a couple, for instance. I don't want to be labeled as a relationship. Why can't we just enjoy the moment? And I've heard that said to a lot of people that ask me questions. Well, we're just enjoying the moment. Oh, okay. You're wasting your time because that moment, each day is time being wasted. But I just put that in there. But I've heard these things before where I'm just enjoying the moment. The translation to that, ladies and gentlemen, folks, my dear friends, um, I like the benefits, but I don't want the expectations. Okay. That's the translation to why can't we enjoy the moment? So double think that. And if you feel like it's okay and you're going to be used like that or whatever the case may be, that's on you. Go ahead. But if you value yourself and it's very important to you, yourself, that would come with self-care, self-love, self-awareness. If you have those things, then that's not going to work out for you. But a situationship is the only place where you can get relationship level disappointment from someone who technically owes you nothing. So that's what a situationship is. It's the only place where you can get a relationship level disappointment, meaning a person whose level is going to be always disappointing, from someone technically owes you nothing because you're not in anything to actually owe. And I don't mean, how do you say it? I don't mean financially, okay, because everything's not that. But they don't owe you an answer, they don't owe you an explanation, they don't owe you a conversation, basically. So just think of that when technically you're in a situation. You're crying because they didn't text you back, for instance, but technically they're not your partner. You understand that? You're mad they're talking to someone else, but technically you're just vibing. You're not in a real relationship, okay? And you know what vibing is, right? Those that know. All right. When you vibing, and that's all it is for you guys, then basically for some people that's okay, but not everyone. If this is not for you, then this is what it is when you're in a situationship. Some people have no problem with it, and that's on you. But people that have self-care, self-love, and self-awareness, they're going to care because you have those qualities, you have those abilities to realize this is not for me. And it's okay to walk out, but communication is very important. You let that person know that's not for you. If that person doesn't change and it's still a situation, then goodbye. Adios. Arrivederci. All right. You're also, as we were saying, you get mad when they're talking to somebody else, but you're just vibing. You can't complain properly because you have to start your argument with, now I know we're not together, but when you have to do things like that, now I know we're not together, but the but is a responsibility. The but is in a relationship, not a situationship, if you know what I'm talking about. So let's talk about why people stay in situationships. All right. Because a lot of people do. I know when I was younger, I probably was in one now that I realized it and analyzed it for myself. And so this is why I say to myself, wait a minute. I would like to tell other people about this because it's not fair to you. You're wasting your time here with people that's not worth your time, basically. But if you like it, like I said, you like it, you haven't gained the self worth, you haven't gained self awareness, and nor have you gained self love because there's no way you could like it while you watch other people in meaningful relationships. So let's talk about why people stay there. They want the comfort without the commitment. Of course, we know that. Some people want someone to cuddle them, someone to call. No, this is all ego. Someone to validate them, another ego. egotistical way, someone to spend holidays with. Okay, but they don't want accountability, they don't want the sacrifice, and they don't want future planning. So be careful with that, because if those are the things they don't want, you're in a situationship. They want the relationship package without signing the agreement. Hmm. I've seen a lot of people that want that. If you don't want a relationship and you just want to overnight whatever you guys do out there, then you're in a situationship and it feels good to you. But to me, I'm like, so how low can your self-esteem go then? I mean, I don't care what you think. I basically think people that think like that about themselves have low self-esteem. You create the situation that you have, that you want, or you can change it. So if you're just a booty call to someone, which a lot of people with low self-esteem do, it's evident. I mean, why would you be that when you feel valued and good about yourself? You don't have to be a booty call. Booty calls are situationships. So if you're always in one, think about why you don't value yourself enough to come out of those type of situations, really. And don't ask yourselves later, why can't I get married? Why nobody wants a booty call that's been everywhere? You don't marry people. You don't bring those type of people home to your parents, right? I hope not. As I know, as a parent, I wouldn't want my children bringing home some booty call. No, thank you. You could keep them at the door, far away from me and far away from yourselves. But that's just my opinion here on my channel. There's other channels that will encourage it. You can go find those channels though. All right, so another one would be fear of being alone, which is understandable, but don't take yourself so low though, because anyone would feel that way. But sometimes, like before I mentioned what fear of being alone is to a situationship, I'm just going to say that alone is very powerful if you can determine what type of relationship you want, with whom you want. And I'm not talking about I'm going to be strict and he has to have money and he has to look a certain way. No, I'm talking about quality, a quality in a person, the character of the person. Character is very important, not the looks, because they can come shining looking like they're an angel from heaven. Oh, God forbid. I'm sorry, my angels, because we don't want to embarrass you with those. But, and they can be a devil in disguise, a devil in a dress, a devil in pants. So be very careful with that about being alone. It can be a powerful thing or it can be a negative thing. All right. I'm going to do a show on that too. Yeah. Because I've seen that happen too as well. We all do. So why not talk about it, right? All right, for the next show, not next right now, but in the near future. All right, so fear of being alone. Some people stay because sometimes it's better than nothing, right? And that's what's scary. The danger here is you can be lonely inside a situationship, because they're giving relationship energy to someone while you're getting maybe energy. Okay, you're not getting a relationship energy, you're just getting the energy when they come in and out. So be careful of those type of things, because that's called a situation. All right, situationship. I'm sorry. And then another one would be people are afraid to ask questions. All right. And that's where the communication fails, because dating has created a strange fear. All right. People are scared to ask, what are your intentions? Because they think asking makes them look needy. No, it doesn't. Asking for clarity is not pressure. Confusion is expensive and it will cost you in the end. So be very careful of that. All right. So now we just went through what I just stated here was the actual reason why people stay in situationships, and why they fear being alone is one of them. But let's move on now to the red flags, because that's what is really important. And I call it here the warning signs. Here's the red flag, a red flag. You only see each other when it's convenient. If someone appears, for instance, after 10 o'clock, when they're bored, or when their plans fail. You might not be dating, you might be a subscription service, so be careful Another red flag, when future conversations disappear. All right. Um, Ask, where is this going? And if the answer is, why does everything need to be planned? That might be your answer. So, you know, that's something you got to look in as a warning. Another red flag is they want loyalty but don't want to give commitment. And this is for male and females. I do not stereotype um one type, because I know females is just as bad as males. Okay? So this is for both when I'm speaking about it. So put it in whatever situationship you're in, and which side are you. All right, you got to figure that out for yourselves. I'm just bringing the package deal because I am the host with the most. Anyway, so this red flag is they want loyalty. That's a red flag, but don't want to give the commitment. A lot of people do that. They don't want you dating anyone else. That's what I'm talking about. Don't want to give commitment, but they don't want you dating anyone else. They get upset. I've been there before, a long time ago. They get upset if someone flirts with you, but they won't claim you. No, stop. Are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. That's called trying to reserve a seat they refuse to buy a ticket for. So be very careful of those type of vibes, okay? Since you vibing in your situationships. I'm not laughing at it because we all got to learn at some point in our lives, and we are learning together here on this channel. Know Your Truth, Real Talk with Just Desire for Knowledge, TV Talk Radio. All right. All right. So we're going to talk about the hard truth about this all, because I'm not going to keep you all long, because situationships can go on forever. We can just keep talking and talking and talking about it. And sometimes it won't even get through to other people. So I'm just going to make it short. The hard truth sometimes about situationship is that sometimes it works because people generally want something casual, which is understandable. The problem comes though when a person is building a relationship during that process and the other person is enjoying an arrangement. Okay? Two people can be in the same room living in completely different realities. All right? A situationship is where two people act like a couple, argue like a couple, hurt like a couple, but nobody wants to admit they're a couple. Make that make sense though, right? I can't. It's just unbelievable. But if that's your situationship, then you know whether that's what you want to continue to have or you want to stop and get into a real relationship. And like we said, some people just like casual, but sometimes casual can lead into such a long casual that when the right person comes, you'll miss that because you're in a casual relationship, which is called a situationship. And so that you'll never realize you're too much on the situationship to even realize that there's real relationships waiting for you out there if you want it. If you want casual and that person comes and you would never know, don't cry later. Not that everybody would. Why am I not married yet or have children yet? Or remarried or whatever the case may be for you. But in my sidebar closing message, I'm just going to say a situationship is the only place where people expect loyalty. They expect it, and without a commitment, okay? Exclusivity without responsibility, okay? Being exclusive without being responsible, and love without accountability. So, what we're saying here is, or shall I say, what I'm saying here is, who would want that type of relationship or situationship, period, instead of a relationship? Love without accountability, without commitment. It sounds nice and casual, but if you hang too long and it's going on 2 to 3 years, eventually, as a human being, you're going to look for that. Unless you just, I don't know, is something wrong? Self-esteem real low? You're going to look for them to be exclusive and be responsible. But in a situationship, the only place where people expect loyalty without commitment is in a situationship. Love without accountability is in a situationship. So if someone says they don't like labels, but expects you to act like their partner, They're not avoiding labels, they're avoiding responsibility. So never let someone keep you in a waiting room while they decide if you're worth a reservation. Okay? Take that from me, Judge Desire for knowledge. Because I'm gonna tell you, that has happened so many times. And then we see it kicked off in the actually in the courtrooms. Like, you weren't in a relationship, remember? You were in a situationship. So how come it's coming to the courts now? I can't. But it is what it is. I'm not laughing at it. I'm just saying we can laugh today because people that's gotten over it. It's the ones that can't. That's not a joke, all right? And as I said, never let anyone have you waiting in the waiting room while they decide if you're worth a reservation. You deserve someone who introduces you, not someone who explains you. And there's a big difference, all right? The right person won't leave you wondering where you stand. They'll stand beside you. And that's real talk. So you heard it from me. Judge Desire for Knowledge. Come check me out every Saturday for Know Your Truth Real Talk. You can tune in on IAAH Radio Plus or here on YouTube. Thank you to all my subscribers, followers. I'm on all social media. Go check that out and join me there. I'm not always posting there anymore because I have so much stuff to do. It is actually the summer and I haven't been able to go live. I'm not sure if I will next week because of events, upcoming events. But here I am bringing you the truth and nothing but the truth on Know Your Truth Real Talk with me, your host with the most, Just Desire for Knowledge is adjourned. And I will see you next Saturday. Hope you all are doing well. And IAAH Radio Plus, thank you for having me. I will be on Twitch there too eventually. So check me out on Twitch as well. And with that being said, what is next? I hope you did get your popcorn because wasn't that pretty cool? I hope you all have a great weekend either way, all right? And just enjoy the summer days because it's getting hot and it's almost over. August is around the corner. So thank you for joining me. And don't forget to check out the IAAH Radio Plus and IAAH Radio, which it's all about house with the best DJs. Yeah, the best DJs and music in town. You can check them out 24 hours a day. The Plus, the IAAH Radio Plus is the one that you get all genres. And it's all about house radio is all about house. So you can get any kind of music you choose. Just go there and check it out. Um, with DJ 5 a.m. Thank you so much for having me here and taking the time out to do this for me, for other people to get the information that I'm sending out. And go check the rest of the DJs. He's also out. I don't know his schedule. DJ 5 a.m. DJ Buggin' Hard. He's out every Tuesday mornings there. And on Twitch, Facebook, I think. I'm not sure if he's still doing that because Facebook is kind of funny. But either way, go check them out. They're great DJs. And I'm so happy to have had you in my space for this time. Thank you so much. Love, blessings, and light to you all.